Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm so privileged to be here. Listening to my introduction, it might feel like everything that you hear and see today. And if you've ever seen my content, you might feel like it's all planned, like every day I meet a person who asks me, how did you think of doing this? What came in your mind when you were starting a coffee brand? How are you so unfiltered online? How do you post content? So, what if I tell you that everything in my life and everything, the biggest decisions of your life, are going to come from confusion? They're not going to come from clarity. If today you're thinking that, in your peer group, everyone knows what they want to do, they're all talking about the next big step, graduation ke baad ye karenge, then we'll do this, then we'll do that. I was there too. I knew that I wanted to do something from the beginning, but I was confused at every stage of life. I think if you look back at my journey, I'm not, even though I have a business today, I'm not somebody who comes from a business background. My mom's a tuition teacher. My dad worked for 25 years of his life in a company for 25,000 salary. And then he took the leap of faith at the age of 45 to start his business. So I don't come from a business background. Everything that I was doing was out of confusion. I had a very simple life, a very middle class mindset that get a degree, get a stable profession, and build your life from there. So I did that. Okay, healthcare is what I knew. I always told my mother from the very beginning that I want to be a doctor. I want to be a doctor. I had this innate passion for biology, for everything that happens in the human body. And so I thought I would make a fabulous doctor because I have really good human connections. I would love to speak to people. And that was a very clear tunnel vision I had. I was from SSC school. My school fees was 5 rupees. Okay. I didn't have school fee. I didn't go to a big university. So coming from that background, when I went to these competitive exam classes, everyone was from an ICSE or a CBSE background, extremely smart, brilliant students. I was in a very competitive environment from the beginning. And I knew if I wouldn't work very hard from day one, I would fail. So I was very, very, very passionate to work towards being Dr. SAROSH. That was the dream. That was the vision. That was where I was destined to be. I worked so hard in my 11th and 12th. And just 6 months before my exam, just 6 months before my entrance exam, is when I got a fever one night and I was bedridden. After that fever, I never got up from the bed. 6 months before the common entrance exam that happens for medical college. That's usually the time when other students are opening their books, and I literally had no energy to open my books. I was bedridden, my body was weak, there was no cure to what was happening to me. Doctors just kept prescribing painkillers. And at that time, when the medical industry had to support me, the medical industry was failing me. Doctors were not able to diagnose what was happening to me. I was not able to get up from the bed. I was not able to give my exams. I was not able to do anything. And I was so heartbroken. I felt like a complete failure. I was like, this is done. My life is over. This is what I had to do. From childhood, I wanted to be a doctor. I can't be a doctor. I'm going to be a failure. So for the next 3 months, 4 months leading up to my entrance exam, I have thought of being a failure every single day. Like, now what will I do? Who's going to fund my dreams? Who's going to take care of my parents? My parents don't have a pension fund. They don't have any retirement fund. This is around the time they've taken one big loan to buy their dream house. Who's going to take care of us? I have all these insecurities, so much doubt in my mind. And I remember my parents just saying, it's okay, it's going to be fine, it's going to be fine. But I knew it's not going to be fine. I just knew that it's not going to be fine. And at that moment, I didn't have any of these 3 R's. I had no redefinition, no reinvention, no rise, nothing. I was not even able to rise from the bed. So at that point, I just had to pray, trust the universe that some miracle will happen. Around 4 months after my illness, there were tests that were being conducted. So I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia. It's a nervous system disorder, and it's usually an elimination disorder. Like, agar ye sab aapko nahi hai, then you definitely have this. That's when the diagnosis happened 4 months later, and that's when the real medicines kicked in. When the real medicines kicked in is when I started getting up. I could again get up, go to college, go to my classes. I didn't give up. I was like, now, still I have 2 months, If I've studied for 2 years, I'm still 2 years ahead of everyone else. I'll give it my best shot. I'll try. And even if I can't try, even if you fail, the best thing as a student is you can give the exam again. That's the best part. So I thought, okay, fine, even if I failed this time, I'll give the exam again. So that was very clear in my mind that unless and until I get into KEM college, which if you don't know is the most prestigious university for healthcare, is one of the most in India and it's the most in Maharashtra. That was my dream college. I did not want to relocate from Mumbai. I'm a very Mumbai girl and I did not want to leave my city. So I gave it my everything and on the day of exam, I was honestly not feeling my best. I had a lot of performance anxiety, a lot of performance pressure. And I thought I'll not go, it's okay, I'll repeat. I studied, I'll repeat the exam. But my dad just told me, go. I'm not going to ask you how your exam went, I'm going to take you out for lunch after this, just go. Give your exam, you're going to be fine, nothing's going to happen. So what if you don't get the marks? Who's going to ask you? Nobody's going to ask you. I was not an influencer back then, no comments were coming on my page, nobody is going to ask me what's happening. So I went, I gave my exam, and nobody asked me how it went, but I got 140 on 200, which is a decent score. It's not the best. You won't get into KEM MBBS, but you've not failed either. With that, I decided I don't want to repeat. That was the portion where I had to reinvent, because I genuinely at that time lost a little faith in the institution of education and the institution of healthcare. And there's a lot of politics that happens with these exams, a lot of reservation seats, a lot of biasness. Government keeps getting up every day and saying this exam is cancelled, now you give this. So at that time I was like, you know what, I'm happy with the marks I've gotten, I'm sure I'll do something, I'll get into some course. So I understood that there are other allied health sciences. I learned about occupational therapy. It's a beautiful profession, okay? That's the degree I have. I hold a bachelor's in occupational therapy. It's a healthcare science where you're dealing with kids, special kids, so mostly special kids, but all sorts of ailments, illnesses, even my disease, fibromyalgia, had I met an occupational therapist, would have been taken care of. So it's a therapy, it's an allied health science, which makes your life better while being in your life. Like if you're a student, it makes your life better while being a student with whatever illness you have. I studied that for 4 years, and what do you know, on the last list of my entrance exam marks, the last list, okay, usually the last list that comes in college, I got into KEM hospital, which was the dream originally. So I got that, I didn't get MBBS, but I got into occupational therapy. It was amazing, the best 4 years of my life. This auditorium reminds me of my college auditorium, and it's so nostalgic to come back into this campus and this environment. So beautiful, beautiful college life that I had. Met my best friends. My best friend, who's my manager today, is from my occupational therapy life. That seemed like the perfect thing, degree mil gayi, now I'll go abroad for my masters, I'll be in US, my US dream is coming true. It's perfect, everything was perfect, and there was no problem, no hiccup. Second year of my college, I felt like I'm doing great in college, studies are easy. This is around the time, same like Rajesh sir just mentioned, that I thought I would, just try out something else. I loved doing makeup. And I loved doing makeup because I had horrible skin. I had the worst acne you could ever imagine. Like this face right now has been through so much. And so much acne, like I would be so nervous to go to school. Everyone would want to point out at my face and say what's wrong with your face. Because I had so much acne on my face and cystic painful acne that even if I slept, वो pimple food ke like it would, pus would transfer. That's the kind of painful acne I had, and I wanted to hide it. So I would, whatever little pocket money I had, I would buy makeup and I would hide my face under makeup. Even to college, if I could, I would put makeup and go. And then I would talk about it so much to my friends that they were fed up. They were like, you know what? You take a phone and you talk on the phone, you don't talk to us. We don't want to listen to you. You talk on the phone. So they said it very casually, but this is actually a thing which was happening in the US back then. This is 2017, and that's when I saw a lot of international creators, content creation being a thing where people actually spoke online about what they liked in makeup, how they did their makeup, and that's what I was seeing and learning makeup. And then, I can do this because nobody in India has the kind of, these foreigners have different skin type, different weather, and nobody has acne for sure. So I went with black face of acne, which I was not confident to go to college. I went with that face online because who was watching me? Nobody was watching me. 100 views is what I would get after 1 month. So that is the kind of views I would get, and I was okay with it. I didn't care. I was just loving it. Every Saturday I would come back from college. I would go to my friend's house, get his camera, put it on a book of encyclopedias, and film myself because I didn't have a tripod, and all these things are very expensive. And I had to do it in the night because my parents would go to sleep, and you need absolute silence if you're filming. So 3 years more of college, 3 years were left, and 3 years I kept making videos. 2,000 subscribers is what I had after 3 years, okay? Not a lot. And then my first 100K happened in COVID. COVID is around the time when people were at home, people didn't have anything to do. Jio came, net was very freely accessible, and that's around the time when everyone was online and we didn't have to go to college because we were done with our education. We had to finally give our internship, which we were not allowed for because everyone was at home. Lockdown is where everyone was having existential crisis, and I decided to reinvent and continue a journey I had started. So I posted a lot of videos consistently every single day. I showed up online. I hit my first 100K in 2020 and then my first 1 million in 2023. That is what consistency can do. And now this is around the time when I'm going to graduate. Now I can't give up on my degree. Okay, I'm making money. I was earning 20,000-30,000 from YouTube. AdSense plus, brands started approaching me. Didn't know how to do this. My first brand deal was 1,000 rupees, so didn't know how to do this at all. But I learned. I started making friends, I started talking to people. That's the best thing you can do, by the way. In university, the best thing you can do is talk to each other, share your ideas, talk to everyone, because the network you will build today is going to be everything. Like my manager is my best friend who's also an occupational therapist. So the friendships, the connections you have in college will always be there with you. I had to complete my degree not only because my parents would literally kick me out of the house if I told them I want to do content creation after all my life of telling them I want to be a doctor, but also because a degree is great to fall back on. What if this didn't work? What if this content was only a COVID fad? What if after COVID everyone goes back to their life and nobody watches my content? So with that fear, I completed my degree, and also because I loved being with patients, I finished my degree because that was something I could always fall back on. If nothing worked out, I'll take this degree, I'll go abroad, I'll do my master's, and I'll have a decently stable life. So I continued doing YouTube and doing internship. Now this is the portion where it gets really, really hard because 6-7 hours of working in the hospital and then coming back and then cleaning your face up to make beauty videos is the hard part, but getting through that has taught me so much in life that getting through these hard parts is what's going to remind you that discipline is everything. No matter what you do, you'll be most confused, but if you have discipline, you'll be able to go through anything and everything. Even when my views, like a lot of people ask me today, what do you do when your views are low? What do you do when brands are not approaching you? What happens when followers stop growing? I don't care about all this. I never cared. Even when I had 2,000 followers, every Saturday I used to come and I used to film videos. Even today, if I have 2 million, I'm coming every Saturday and I'm filming videos. So nothing changes when you're disciplined and you're consistent with what you're doing, even if you are confused and have no clarity where this is going to take you. I kept building the ladder. 2023, I hit my first million. 2025 is the year where big opportunities have come my way. Amidst all of this, I also started my brand, Impulse Coffees. Now, this was a very impulsive thing, It was not a very planned thing, which is why it's called Impulse Coffees. I just thought, why not? Because everybody back then, again in the US, every influencer was launching their own brand. And I was like, if this is the future, I should try it too. I didn't do a lot of research. I loved coffee. I am a true blue. My mom is from Bangalore, by the way, and I very South Indian roots background. I was like, I need to bring really good Indian coffee to the Indians because I think Indians flex so much. No, I have African coffee, Vietnamese coffee, Filipino coffee, but they forget that one of the best coffees is made in India, which is also exported to the world. So I was like, I can do this and I'll make coffee. I'll make really good coffee where if you come to my house and if you have coffee, it will be the best coffee you'll have. With that mindset, I started Impulse Coffees. 3 flavors. My first photo shoot was in my first rental house. I paid 30,000 rent of that house and I had everything over there in-house production. I even fulfilled my first couple of orders from my home and did the customer service, spoke to customers, did everything.
I kept building it slowly, steadily, didn't focus too much on it. It was there on the sidelines. My degree was over, I was doing content creation, and I was building this on the side. And back at this point, I have literally had to make a PowerPoint presentation and pitch this to my parents. And look, this is what I'm doing. This is how much money I make. This is how much money I'll make if I keep going. And if this doesn't work out, I will go abroad and do masters and be the good child you want me to be. But in case this works out, you hit the lottery with me, so please let me go. So let me do this, let me try, because the only investors I had to convince was my parents. Nobody else mattered at that point. So my mom was not very convinced. You know, South Indians love their education, so they were not very convinced. She was very this that you go, you become a doctor, you have to be a doctor. How can you even, what are you making videos on? Like today she also makes content, by the way, online. That is just very amazing. My father was a typical Mumbai boy, and he was like, go do whatever you want to do. What will happen? Worst case scenario, we'll come back home, it'll be fine. So with my dad's confidence in me, I did content creation, everything worked out. Kept going, did Impulse Coffees. In 2024, 2025, I had a very big opportunity come my way. I went for the Cannes Film Festival. It's a beautiful red carpet event. Thank you so much. Beautiful red carpet event. Had major imposter syndrome. Did not feel like I belonged there at all. High fashion, high glam, super paparazzi, like crazy network. Okay. And I am thinking over there with my acne skin and brown skin and stretch marks on my body and standing on this red carpet, feeling max imposter syndrome. Where I was like, something कुछ तो किया होगा लाइफ में ये खड़ी हूँ मतलब ऐसी तो नहीं आया. So I smiled for the paparazzi, taken my pictures, met amazing people. Again, wherever you go, you meet really influential people. Met amazing people, understood. I spoke to Parul Gulati, I remember very well. She's the founder of Niche Hair, if you know. She has a hair extension and she's a celebrity. Celebrity with a great business mind. And she told me, Sarah, you're not using your biggest tool, that is your face for your business. So Impulse Coffees was my brand, but I would never tell people it's my brand. I would make it like a coffee brand. I wanted it to be apart from me, not a part of me. So with that, she told me that first you sell it to your people. First you talk to your people, tell them it's your coffee, convince them to buy it, and then you think of parting ways with it. Don't first only make it apart. That line stuck with me. I remember having this conversation with her in the flight back from Cannes to Bombay. And it just stuck with me. And after that, I gave it my all. I was like, you know what? I have made it as a content creator. Now it's time to again reinvent. Now it's time to rise in something new. So I'll rise in like a D2C founder. Gave a lot of work, started, my monthly sales were around 2 to 3 lakh, not a lot, very bad as numbers as per D2C standard. But then when you put the work, when you consistently show up, today my numbers are 50-60 lakh per month, and 60,000 Impulse customers, etc. Just in 1 year. Just in 1 year. 1 year of consistently showing up at your business, consistently making it work for yourself. So even when you're confused, even when nothing is clear, you just have to be consistent. Every day I figured it all out. How the operations works, how marketing works, how D2C works. No idea how any of this works. Talk to people and they talk to me and sometimes I'm like, wow, I'm not even from business school, I studied in healthcare. So I have no idea what D2C, what B2B, what revenue, EBITDA, none of that. I didn't know anything. And now it's the generation of AI, so everything is super clear with AI. Gives you a lot of clarity with the help of that. When I was building this Impulse Coffees, this is my 1,000 days in business done. I also noticed that 1,000 days in business is my father's saying, and Gujarati say this a lot, that 1,000 din do koi bhi naye dhande ko, and then it will work. After 1,000 din is when you will actually start making profit. My 1,000 din was getting over in Diwali of 2025. 5 days before Diwali of 2025, I had stocked up completely. Okay, this is the Diwali. This is when I'm touching my 1 crore. This is it. My Diwali 2025 was going to be my Diwali where I would make it like 1 crore. I'm talking to investors. It's going to be fab. It's going to be amazing. 5 days before Diwali, I go to Delhi for a panel. I'm supposed to talk about business on this panel. And there's a warehouse fire. And my entire goods, everything, my coffee, frother, iced tea, hot chocolate, everything that we sell, burned to ashes. gift box, packaging material, nothing is left. There was a huge fire in Bhiwandi where lot of warehouses are there. And a lot of brands, of course, lost a lot. Bigger brands usually have multiple warehouses, so they could, if this is bought, they can still continue business from somewhere else. I had only one warehouse in Bhiwandi, one Mumbai warehouse, burned. I had a call at 2 o'clock in the night when my dad is not able to speak, okay? My manager calls me first and she's like, wait, I need to connect you with your dad. 2 o'clock in the night, when you're saying I want to connect with my dad, my first thing is something has happened to my mother. So I'm already palpitating and I'm already worried. And then when he said, beta, warehouse mein aag lag gayi hai, I literally breathed a sigh of relief, you know. I was like, okay, I can still manage that. If something would have happened to my mother, I could not have managed that. So I was like, okay, kitni badi aag lag, kuch to bacha hoga. Nothing, not even the walls of the warehouse were left, okay. It was a very, very bad fire. I did not have insurance because clearly nobody has, I have no mentor, I have nobody in business. Nobody guided me correctly. I didn't know that you should get stock insurance or insure your stock. Didn't have all that. Completely lost it in that minute. I could have easily shut down the business. I make decent money being a content creator. I've proved myself. But that was the time to rise again. And I've understood it's not in your best moments that success is defined. It's in your worst moments that success is defined. My worst moment, I lost everything. Everything gone to ashes. Next day morning, I'm on 5 calls with my vendors. Maal arrange karo. Within overnight, my vendors have arranged goods. I've spoken to people. Warehouse has already been arranged. All the goods are coming from everywhere that the order stock is coming to Mumbai. I am flying from Delhi to Bombay. Within 5 days, Pulse Coffee was back in business. And everyone online has supported us so much. So this was that moment where I realized that the community I have built made my movement so much louder that even though I didn't have Diwali, I had every festival after that. I lost Diwali sales. You know, Diwali is usually the time you make the most money. I lost that sales, but after that, every festival was mine. So with that message, just one thing to say that if you're confused, you're in the best place. You're literally where you're supposed to be. Just don't wait for clarity. If you have any vision in your mind, keep going. Consistency is what is going to keep you there, and you have to be courageous to show up. Okay? And even if you're confused, you're in the best place. Keep going, and it's going to make it all worth it. Thank you so much for having me.